Hello, and welcome to session 3 for contractors using the new CDOT customer service system that we call Dialog. This session is all about collaborating with others. We have already completed our first two sessions, which were logging in, basic navigation and terminology, and the second one, which was how to manage cases. And this one is focused on collaborating with others, and we are going to explore three topics. The first one is collaborating with our customers or communicating with them via email. So how to send an email from Dialog. And the second one is to how to capture case comments within Dialog. And then finally, we'll teach you how to change the owner of a case. So if you want to assign the case to another, maybe you need to assign it to one of the CDOT communications managers, or maybe it is related to a request of some sort that is not something that you as a contractor can uh, can help with, and you might need to uh, send it to another. So we're going to cover those three topics in today's session. And then our fourth session will be a very short one talking about how to manage a major event case. So for now, let's go into Dialog one more time. And I'm going to start on the Cases tab again, and I'm going to create or look at our all open cases. That's a good place to start. And I have a case called number 2273. This one is that there is a construction truck that is impeding traffic on the Highway 36 express lane. So I am going to go ahead and click on that subject line in order to open this case up. Let's just say that this case may have come in through maybe the CDOT Contact Us site, but perhaps it wasn't a caller. Maybe it was somebody who used a mobile device to submit their case, and it just routed itself directly to your queue. So in this case, here you are, and you are viewing these case details. And so you know this person wants a response, and you're just going to need to look into it and determine which kind of truck it was, and you might ask them for some additional information. So this customer did give us an email that's as their preferred method of contact, and we do have the customer's email address. So we are good for answering customers. So let's go ahead and click the Answer Customer tab. You'll see that it changes a little bit. It's gray. And we have what we call, this is an email to case feature. So this very long from address means that when you send an email from the case in Dialog, if the customer replies to you, then their email response will also link and attach directly to the case in Dialog. So you won't have to do any copying and pasting or anything of the sort. The email response will automatically just reply here. So you'll also notice that we have a to name set here, and then there's also a subject line that automatically populated from the subject line that we put in on the case. So you can see construction truck impeding traffic and causing safety concern. So you could just type your email, response to the customer and choose send email. There's also a spot down here where if you mouse over them, you can tell, actually I think we're working on those right now, but you can click to email an attachment. So if you need an attachment here, you can click here to add them. I also want to point out that we have templates. So you have select a template. I'm going to use one that is the customer service one that we have for CDOT. This is called a general thank you. So what I just did was I chose an email template so that a lot of this wording is already pulled in for you. So in this case, you can see that we have the CDOT scroll bar. We also have, the logo. And then we have the Dear Tricia Benson, thank you for your recent inquiry related to, again, it already puts in the subject line. This one says, we have reported your concern to one of our regional teams. You can update this, so you can update this so that it will say whatever you want to one of our project leads, and they will be out to the location to address the situation shortly. Again, thank you for bringing this situation to our attention. Best regards. And then you could say maybe, I think I'm logged in as CIG right now, the CIG customer service team. And you might say something like on behalf of CDOT. and the Highway 36 Express Toll Project. So something like that. And it may be that you want to have an email template that is specific for you. So I just wanted to demonstrate the features of both the email template and the email in general. And once you get done with this, you can use these scroll bars just so you know if you want to scroll all the way over to see what the whole thing, give it a quick read before you're done. I can scroll over here as well so you can see how it all looks. And then you can choose send email. So once you've done that, you can also look at any email history. So you can see under view case details, remember we were looking at our case? Any email that you've sent will be associated. Uh-oh, where's my email? It was there a minute ago, wasn't it? Pretty sure we sent it. Let me just refresh it and see if it just needs to probably have an update. There we go. There's our act date. So here's our email that we sent. So I just needed to refresh the page. And if this person were to reply, you would see additional activity history down here, and you would say the email replies. So um, on the case detail at the bottom, we call this the related list section. Any email that you send, you can see here, and any email that is replied to, you can see here as well. But the Answer Customer tab is the way that you get to that email feature. Okay, so now that we have talked about how to send email, let's talk about how to add case comments. So answer the customer is what we just did. We talked about the email to case. We talked about where to attach documents. And I did want to mention that the default recipient, the customer contact, it's their email address that defaults. So some people like to use the Answer Customer tab for the customer contact information, or to send it to somebody else within their team. So you want to be sure that you're looking very closely at that to line, because if you're trying to maybe email internally within your team, you may not wish to include the customer on your email. So just be careful and double check the to line to make sure that you have the appropriate names and email addresses listed to which you wish to direct the email. Okay, so the next thing that we want to talk about is capturing the case note. So the Case Notes tab really just allows you to add comments as time goes by. So you might have a type of case that has a few more, that might take a little time to resolve. So in this case, we've got a driver that seems to be impeding traffic. We probably need to find out who that driver is and maybe talk a little bit about it. And so it might take a little bit of time. So we're going to add some case notes here. We might write an internal comment. And we might share it with others who are part of our team. You can view comments associated with the case notes, and anybody who has access to the case can see your comment too. So you and your colleagues who might be answering cases on behalf of your organization, or if you have chosen to share it with anybody else, you can they can see your comments as well. But generally, it's mostly going to be you and anybody in your project or organization that has access to be using Dialog. You can attach files and links under the case note comment as well, and then you can look at all of the collaboration associated to any cases under the Chatter tab. So let's go back and take a quick look. So now that we have created our cases, well, in this case, our customer may have created this case as well. We've already done our answer customer. We've got our email history down here, so we can see that. Then we can now write our case note. So adding a case note is really quite simple. And this is something that we like to think of as dialogue. It's also called chatter functionality. So I can post cases here. And so let's just say that I want to say drivers working on McCaslin intersection lanes at Highway 36. Supervisor has been alerted. Driver reported pickup truck, red, F-250. And so now what I can do is post this comment, and I can just simply click share. And you'll see right down here, it's already adding to this feed. So if you had somebody else maybe who also was a Dialog user, you could say at, I have somebody who is Josh Johnson who I'm working with. I could say at Josh Johnson, do you know who might have a red F-150? But remember, in order for me to use the at sign like you might on a Facebook post or something like that, or excuse me, F-250, in order to do that, this person must be a user of Dialog. So you might have a couple of users signed up for your organization, but you can use these at. This is also something that if you wanted to say um, something to internally to CDOT and you wanted to alert somebody like Gina Talmadge, who manages customer service organization, you could say at Gina Talmadge, FYI, thought you should be aware, something like that. Okay. But just you can just continue to share comments, and you'll see that the feed on this case continues. So we know that the case was created. We know that the person has a red pickup truck, and we also have invited others into our scenario. I can post files, so I can upload files. I can post links here, and then you can just continue to have a dialogue. Now, the other thing that I wanted to point out with the writing case notes is that sometimes people will chatter with you. So there may be a customer service representative at CDOT who took a call and they wanted to assign the case over to you. So they can do that by assigning the case to you and looking up your names associated with your project. And then they may wish to chatter to you. So if you want to look at all of your chatter feed, your history, for all different cases, or you want to chatter back and forth with others, you can use this chatter tab. And this allows you kind of direct access to those who are within CDOT customer service. So you can continue to post comments. You can use at comments. And if you want to have them specifically associated with the case, then you would want to go to the case number and chat from there. But this chatter tab that you see is really kind of a culmination of all the different types of conversations that you might have related to multiple different types of cases. All right, so here's my cases again. We went back to what were we working on? Construction truck impeding traffic. And so here are all of our case comments. All right. So let's go back. We did this one. We talked about the case notes. We talked about internally commenting and clicking share. We showed where you scroll a little lower to view your comments. And we talked about the fact that you may have others within your organization who can also see your comments. And we talked about how you can attach files and links, and then how you can use the at mention in order to alert others that you might have a comment, and also that you can view your full collaboration related to all cases under the chatter tab. Last but certainly not least in this section is called changing ownership. So that is really if I need to change my ownership of somebody to somebody else. Maybe you are owning a case, but you're heading on vacation, and so you want one of your colleagues to do it. Or maybe you feel like you need to turn the ownership of the case over to CDOT customer service, so you turn it over to them. You can certainly do that. So to do that, you're going to display the case detail, and just like the same spot where we might, um, see the edit button or the close case button, and then we're going to click the change link next to the owner field. And then we'll find the name of the person or of the queue to whom we wish to reassign the case, and then we'll finish the process. So let's go take a look. So let's go back here and say, oh, okay, actually this is a construction truck that's impeding traffic, the red F-250. This is something that I might need one of my my colleague to assist with because I know that I'm going to be out of the office. So when you're looking at the case, we're going to go, we have been on the answer customer and then we were on the right case note tab, but let's return to our view case details tab. And when you scroll down, you'll be able to see somebody who is called the case owner. So in this case, I'm logged in as this person named Josh Johnson. So I want to switch the name of Josh Johnson, and I'm going to send it to our colleague Lynn. So I'm going to choose change, and I can either change this from a user or a queue, and it defaults to sending a notification email to either the user or the person who serves as the owner of the queue. So to change the owner to a user, I can just search maybe for their name. So I'll put in the first name, and I have a Lynn Lannon, who is a user. So I can just change it here. The check send notification email is checked, and I could choose save, and that would change the ownership. And then I also might be able to change this to a queue. So let's say that something got misrouted and it has nothing to do with us at all, and so you need to send it back to CDOT. You might be able to go CDOT HQ and see that there's an HQQ. You might not know the specific person, but the HQQ seems like the right place to be. And then you, again, could send a notification email and choose save. You could also add a case comment in there that says not our not our case. So let's go back to the user just to finish this one out. Notice that when you do create or decide to change, you may not be able to see this case anymore because once you've assigned it to another user, it may be a user that isn't part of your project organization or your con- contractor organization. And so if you send it back to HQ, then you may not have access to view this case anymore. So changing ownership changes responsibility of the case. And if you needed to be shared with it again, you would have to ask them to give you access to that case through sharing. So when I choose save, my guess is that my case owner is going to go away. And so if I go back to my all open cases, I don't think that I will see my truck problem anymore because I no longer own that case. So here we are. We have completed the third session. We changed ownership. We talked about how to scroll down and find the change link next to the field. Again, we did that without choosing edit. We just scrolled down to the lower portion of the case detail, looked for that owner field, and then we chose the change link. We found the name of the person or queue to whom we wished to reassign the case, and then we just chose save and allowed the checkbox to send an alert. So that wraps up our third session, which is how to answer the customer, how to capture case comments, and how to change ownership to another person. So now you know how to do those things. The next session is how to manage major event type cases. So we'll see you there. Thank you.